Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Stock Talk. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Julie, and today I want to talk about IBM's earnings report. But before I do that, I want to go over the overall markets. And I like to look at the SPY because it tracks the S&P 500 and the triple Qs track the NASDAQ 100. So we can see I'm on the SPY chart right now, and I'm on the 2-minute chart. So we can see that the index fund went from an intraday high on Friday of 448 to an intraday low of 420 today, which is an over 6% drop. But thankfully, it made a nice recovery and actually closed almost a 0.5% above the closing that I had on Friday. So that is really good. But if we take a look at the 1-day chart, we can see that it actually dropped down to the 300-day moving average. In my last video, I had said that the SPY had dropped 9%. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but 10% is officially correction territory. So if the SPY drops any further than what we had this past week, then we are definitely going into correction territory, which pretty much everyone is anticipating at this point. And taking a look at the Qs, let me go actually to the 2-minute chart, and we can see that I had an intraday high of 362 on Friday, and today I had an intraday low of 334, and that is over a 7.5% drop. The Qs is actually already officially in correction territory because as of Friday it was down over 13%. Now officially we are not in a bear market yet. To be in a bear market you have to be down 20% from recent highs, so we're not quite there. But anyways, we had earnings start off a couple weeks ago with JP Morgan, then followed by Goldman Sachs and Netflix. Unfortunately, we didn't have a good earnings report. All stock plummeted after their earnings reports. So I'm really excited about IBM's earnings report. So IBM has been around for 111 years. It was actually established in June of 1911. So IBM reported earnings today after hours, and to everyone's surprise, IBM posted their best sales growth in a decade. Yes, in 10 years. But before I go over the numbers, let's go right ahead and take a look at their products and solutions. So if we take a look at the products and solution, we can see these are all their different products that they offer and their solutions. So they also offer consulting services. Due to high demand in the software unit, including IBM's hybrid cloud product, the company beat analyst estimates. And if we take a look at the chart, let me just pull it up real quick. We can see that IBM actually rose 7.5% following their earnings report. So it went from their closing of 128 all the way to 138. Now it has given most of its earnings back, but I take that due to profit taking. But we can see that it has still been continued to climb up, and we're sitting right now at 131.99 at the time of this recording. So analysts were actually expecting a 16 billion sales revenue, and IBM beat that by 6.5%, which equates to 16.7 billion. So that is quite tremendous. Now, in the past, IBM actually benefited from companies that couldn't easily transfer their systems or integrate their systems. But when the pandemic came along and everybody was forced to speed the process up to migrate their workload to the cloud, they had also no choice but to adapt. So IBM actually started offering a hybrid model in which customers can store data either on premises, on private cloud services, or even on public providers. And if we go back to IBM, we can go to products and solutions, and we can see it talks right here about what is the hybrid cloud. So if you guys want to read up on this even further, you guys can do that. But yeah, so what does this mean for IBM? Are they out of the woods? No, probably not. I do think that they still have to prove a lot moving forward, especially with their larger competition like Microsoft. But I think with their hybrid model, they are trying to distinguish themselves, and I think they have a really good chance of doing that. So if I break down the numbers of their revenue, we can see that the consultant revenue was 4.75 billion, which is a 13% increase year over year. Their software revenue was 7.27 billion, which is over 8%. And then the infrastructure came in at 4.41 billion, which is slightly down, and their financing revenue was 172 million, which is actually down 30% year over year. Now, their operating EPS was estimated at $3.23, but that came in at $3.35. And their profit gross margin was estimated at 56% and came in at 58%. So overall, they had fantastic numbers, which again is why you saw the increase in the stock price and after hours. Let's take a look and see what the estimates are saying about IBM, because again, this is their highest sales revenue growth over the last 10 years. So this is actually quite of an accomplishment for them. So let me pull up tip ranks and let's have a look at here. So the analysts are giving it a moderate buy rating. We have 4 buys, 3 holds, and 1 sell. Now this is of course not updated with today's earnings report, so that's probably going to get updated. But as of right now, we have a low price target of 124, a high price target of 185, and a medium price target of 150, which gives us a 17% upside potential from where we're sitting right here. So I'm not telling you guys to go out and run and buy the stock. You definitely want to pay attention before you enter the stock, because you also want to take a look at the overall picture of the stock market. But if IBM is a stock that you guys like, then definitely it's worth it putting it on your watch list. Now, their forward guidance, they're estimating a 7 to 8% growth from here, which represents roughly a 10 billion cash flow in revenue. So that is quite amazing. They're planning on paying off their debt. They have paid out quite a bit of debt already. And Jim Cavanaugh, their chief financial officer, said that this is the start of the new IBM and perspective on what we look like going forward. We saw a very healthy acceleration in cloud and consulting, which are key growth areas. So again, I think with the hybrid model, they are paving their ways to making the improvement. And I think down the road, 3 to 5 to 10 years, we'll definitely see the improvement. Now, another thing I like to point out is actually IBM pays dividend. So quarterly, they're paying $1.64, which is quite nice. So they just paid this past December. So based on this chart, it looks like they're probably going to be paying again in February. So keep an eye on that. So this might also be a good time for you guys to get into IBM. So we had great earnings report, their dividends coming up. So that's all great. So the annual yield is actually 5%. That's quite nice. So again, I'm not here to give you guys financial advice, but just merely give you guys information that you guys can make educated decision. So let's go back and take a look at the chart. If you guys have been watching any of my other videos, you know I like to take a look at the broader picture. So this is my 1-day chart. As you can see, the chart has been kind of all over the place. It's not really going in any clear direction. Let's take a look at the 3-year chart and see. So here we can see it was actually going sideways, and we were in a consolidation phase over here. Then we tried to make new highs. We didn't make new highs, but we did make higher lows, so that's always good. So I think the stock is definitely on the verge of doing a turnaround. So keep your eye out on it. Now, with the overall market pulling back right now, we might see a pullback on the stock despite the great news. We saw it today where people were taking profit after their great earnings report. So that is going to be, I think, the theme for this year. But if IBM is a company that you guys thinking about holding in long term after you guys do your own research, then this might be a great spot for you guys to start averaging into this position. So we just had earnings reported. That was fantastic. They have dividends coming up, so that's going to be nice. You guys can benefit from that. And if this was the bottom of IBM, then you guys got in at the bottom, so that's great. If not, then at least you started your starter position, and you guys can start averaging into this position if this is a long-term investment for you guys. So I hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. Feel free to share this video with your friends, and also consider subscribing to my channel so you guys don't miss any of my future episodes. And as always, thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Until then, bye-bye.